Hello, students of class 7. Students, as we have read about some part of first chapter, computer software and language. In this chapter, we have understood computer, computer software and hardware, computer generation language. Today, student, we will understand again about computer software and its types. So let's read about the students. As we know, computer software is very important. As we know, this is a part of the computer. Mainly, there are two parts of the computer: software and hardware. Then, software, as have a seen about the programming and instructions, and we know this is a very important because without the instructions and commands computer cannot do anything. So here the software is a important for all computers like as a hardware. So here we see the software can be stored in any of the computer storage devices. Means we can store software in any computer storage device. Software used by computer can be classified in two types. Basically here application software and system software. In system software we see this type of software has its own subtypes of software. Means as we know, system software is a very important for every and each computer, because without the system software no any computer can be run. So here the operating system, that is defined first here. Operating system, it control the overall function of the computer, and in the form of the operating system we know the name. Some popular operating system are Windows 7, Linux, Android, Mac, etc. These are the such a important types of the operating system software for computer, and it perform and control the all the parts of the computer, means from input to output. And not only it control the computer, but it control the other hardware devices and other, I mean secondary software also, like your application software, utility software, customized software. So this operating system is a very important, and it load first on the computer. Here we see the some other software which is related to operating system, that is device, drivers, utility programs, language processor or translators. So these are the parts of the operating system. Device drivers, as we install the other hardware with computer, and that hardware device, that the additional hardware device use the software. And in this category we see the many types of the hardware devices. It needs driver to operate that device, like a speaker, hard disk, CDs, DVDs, cameras, images scanner. Then after we see the utility programs, and utility programs are the software designed to perform specific tasks related to operations of the computer. For example, disk defragmenters, restore, antivirus, disk cleanup, etc. These are the such a types of the software that is called the utility programs. That is called also the removable programs. In next, language processor or translator, as we know, computer understand only the 0 and 1. That's why it needs the instruction in a 0 and 1 form. So here the translator, which translate instructions, user instructions, into the computer understandable format 0 and 1, and now it again reconvert the result in the form of the user understandable form, and we use in the computer to give the instruction as a high level language and assembly language also here. So here we see the assembly language, that is a translator assembler called, and the assembly language, assembler is a language processor which translate the programs written in assembly language into the machine language. Interpreter is also language processor which translate the high level language into the machine language, then execute, then it perform by the computer. And we see here the interpreter, it interpret or translate the instruction in one line, I mean line by line. But in the compiler, as we know, it is also language processor, but it compile means you can say it translate the instructions, user instructions in a whole form, means at the same time it convert the all the instruction at a same time. So here we see the next application software and its types. So here application, as it is used by the computer to do different tasks, and it these tasks are other than the starting and running of the computer. Here we see the next here, the application software used for a specific purpose and thus can further be subdivided into the given following form: general purpose software and customized software. General purpose software, as it is used for the general task, not written for any other particular or special purpose. It can be used in business or industry. It can be used as a commercial as well as non-commercial purpose, etc. So here we can see there are some example of the um, general purpose software given, like a word processing software, that is a word processor which we use for the creating, editing and formatting the text document. Desktop publishing, it is used for creating the newspaper, magazine, brochures, advertisements, and so on. And we can find these type of the software like especially used in the publication sector, like using with the Corel Draw, Adobe Photoshop, Quark Press and Microsoft Publisher. Next, database management system, that is called here DBMS. It is used to store and create, modify and sort out the data, and we can use also here the query to find out our required data in the DBMS, in the database. There are some types of the software we use like Oracle, Microsoft, SQL Server and Base, etc. Spreadsheet software we use for the calculation purpose, comparison and analyze the data. Analyze data means we can analyze the data according to our needs. We prepare different reports based on the data, and we can apply the logical and statistical and conditional types of option applied on the spreadsheet. Then we see here the graphic software. The graphic software, like as a drawing and for the drawing and painting software, that is also called here the CAD, computer aided design. Drawing painting software like a freehand drawing, coloring your shapes, painting software like MS software, MS Paint, and here the computer aided design, we can design the architecture, we can design the model by this software, that is called the CAD here. Customized software, it is specially designed to fulfill the requirements of the particular individual or company. Means it is a can be created on the demand of the customer. Okay student, thank you for today, but in next video I will tell you about the binary language.